Alright, containers for the food. So I've used food sacks similar to this. This one is very old. It's from Mountain Laurel Designs. It's DCF. It's showing its age. It's starting to delaminate, and it's had a lot of use. It's a big long bag. It's kind of a different size than many other companies make. However, I still use it, and yeah, I can store quite a bit of food in there. It's easy. It's easy to hang, and I don't have an issue with hanging food. I have these little carabiners attached to all my food bags too, and it's a simple, non-load bearing. I believe it's aluminum. It's very lightweight, but it has a threaded locking system, and it's just the right size that it fits into the lock handle mechanism of many of these bear boxes. So if you go around to these bear boxes, you'll find that many of them the door doesn't actually lock, it doesn't latch properly. So I've used this thing to make sure it's closed and locked. I guess apparently there was a bear that learned how to open those doors in the Akamita campground, I think it was. So yeah, it's just a little extra precaution. Yeah, so here's some typical food. This size of a freezer bag, what is it? Basically a foot by a foot sort of thing. Usually is what I would use for 1 day's food. And of course I would never fill it up. But that's generally the kind of size I would use for that. And this size would be a size I would use for a meal. So, whatever. It's substantially smaller, maybe 8 inches by 8 inches. Something like that. Anyway, yeah. That's the size of plastic bags I use. And they're freezer bags, and they can take boiling water and they heat. They hold the heat. They do well. I have another DCF bag that it was from Z-Packs. It's old too, so they're kind of on their last legs. But I've made my own too. One out of X-Pack. It's a lot tougher, and of course it's heavier. But it'll probably last me the rest of my life anyway. And then the other one I have is the canister, and this one's a little bit different because not too many people tend to buy this one. And what is it called? I kind of forgot. Bear keg, that's what it is. Counter assault bear keg. It is certified. You need some kind of a coin or a screwdriver or something to lock it. But it really works well. I've got a coin taped to the bottom if I need to. It works really well. I was not excited about having to get it, but this is the one I chose. But once I've used it a couple times, I really quite like it now. It is a sit-down seat when not in use. It keeps all the critters out, little guys and the big guys. And I found in my large packs, when I put it in, I can stuff everything around it, and it just seems to work incredibly well. It feels like it gives the pack bag some structure, actually. So I'm really liking it. The weight, not so much. This bag here is just some old sleeping bag, but I sewed some attachment points on here so I can I can, tie it down on top of my pack if I have to, if I want to take this in a scenario where I'd have to go outside. Yeah, so that's it. I'm not a big fan of the other bags. I don't know, there just seems something funny about the whole situation in that, you're putting, like, I'm talking about Adotech or who's those other guys? I don't know, they make these bags that are bear resistant, and I'm not saying they aren't, but the thing about tying it to a tree away from your camp, well, I don't know, something about that doesn't make sense. And supposedly, I've heard people say that, this canister should be, hidden away from your camp also, and I just don't know about that. I don't think it's necessary. But whatever, there's always different opinions out there. So anyway, I'm going to call that the end of this video. I've talked about food and carrying it. And maybe I'll give somebody some ideas, maybe not. Alright, we're going to carry on with the food pack up. So this is a 5-day trip I'm going on. I've got it all sorted out. And it comes out to 1 pound 0.47, so almost 1.5 pounds per day. And I expect to eat quite well, actually, and that includes this little, almost a half a pound of what I'm calling emergency food. So there it is. I'm pretty sure it's going to all fit in this bear canister. And here we've got a garbage bag, and this is one of those Insultex bags to keep my food warm as it's rehydrating. So I'm going to see if I can stuff it all in here. Okay, so everything except the pita bread. It'll be fine. After one day of eating down day's food, this will fit in there. Excellent. So yeah, that's about it. 5 days worth of food. You might be able to stuff a little bit more in, but I'm going with this.